So yes, people, welcome to another episode of the Ghostoul Podcast. Every week I interview the very best in the paranormal world, and today is no exception. I have TV's spiritual medium, Ryan Griffiths.
Yo,
Woo!
Mickey, how's it going?
Oh, good, mate. How are you? It's been a while.
It has been a long time. In fact, some would say too long, but it's an absolute pleasure to be here as always, and for the invitation to come along and have a spooky chat.
Yeah, always ready and always down for a chat.
That's it. Got to
Yeah.
be done.
Yeah.
But you're looking very grey there, Mickey. You're looking very grey.
I know. I'm just letting nature take over. I think
See,
you're looking well, slim,
no, you see,
fresh.
that's the makeup department, because what they've done is they said, you're going on with Mickey York. He's a legend in the paranormal. You know, you've got to meet up, live up to that standard. So they put some grey tinges in my beard. And,
Just a match.
Yeah, just so that you didn't feel a bit out of place there, Mickey. I'm actually 16, like, not 21.
Oh, fucking hell. Brilliant. So, oh, fuck, it's hot, man. It's hot. So, obviously, everyone in the UK knows who you are, seeing you on TV. But for those around the world that don't know who you are, could you just give us a little rundown of who you are and what you do?
Yeah, cool. Well, obviously, I'm Ryan Griffiths, named at the bottom of the screen. That's not there, guys, for you to know who I am. That's so that I don't forget who I am. But no, I'm a psychic medium. I've been around a long time, 20 odd years. I've been dipping my toes in and out of the paranormal since a very, very early age, whether that's just watching what everybody else did, Most Haunted and different things, or was that going out to events? And as the time went on, I went into events, I got more sort of pulled in that direction, and I loved it. I loved doing my platform work as a medium. And then when opportunities came along for the TV side of things, I grabbed it. And as I say to anyone watching, an opportunity comes, grab it, don't let go. And that's sort of where I'm at now. I'm sort of taking a year out. I'm sort of getting myself fit and healthy, as hopefully you can see.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And the idea with that, and we'll hopefully talk a wee bit about that later on, is about mental health and what I'm going to do working towards that. There you are, mate. There you are. You absolutely are enough. Yeah, and that's enough. Also, grey beard as well. But yeah, no, that's basically me. I'm a psychic medium. I'm in my 40s. I love what I do. I don't pretend to be somebody I'm not, and I just have a crack, as you can see. It's as simple as that.
Best way to be, mate. Best way to be.
Absolutely.
So, what got you interested in the paranormal? Did you see a spirit at the end of your bed when you were small? Did you just watch TV? How did you get into it?
Well, actually, funnily enough, I did see a spirit at the end of the bed. I've mentioned it in several different things before, but it's a very, very strong thing in defining my life's path, so to speak. Many years ago, here on the island of Shetland in the middle of the North Sea, I was living with my grandfather, and I kept waking up and getting this strange feeling at night time. And I woke up and I saw this young girl standing in the doorway of my bed. And at first I was like, fuck off. I don't want to do that. And I didn't swear there, honest.
No.
And on this occasion I sort of looked and I thought, what is going on? And she just stood there and sort of smiled and sort of nodded her head. And she sort of looked like, I always talk about Interview with a Vampire and the young girl that was in that.
Yeah.
She looked very similar. Anyhow, the next morning came round, I told my granddad, and he shut me down instantly. Didn't want to talk about it, didn't want to go any further, and that was the end of that. About 10 years later, I was chatting with my grandmother, and I told her the same story, and she burst into tears. She went out the room, she'd come back with 2 photo albums. She showed me the first picture, and she said, "Is that her?" And I said, "Yeah, but she looked different." So she showed me the second one, she said, "Is that her?" And it was how she dressed her first daughter, Margaret, who would be my Auntie Margaret. She dressed her for her funeral because she died of meningitis at the age of 4 years old.
Oh, no.
And this is the interesting bit, or what I find interesting and really humbling, is we talk about messages and what information we can get from spirit, and we're always clambering with equipment or physical beings to try and get as much evidence from the other side as possible.
Yeah.
And you've done that. That's what you do. That's what I do. But this was such a simplest piece of evidence that was so strong and so prominent, it was unreal. Basically, as she nodded her head, my granny informed me that the only thing she ever wondered was whether Margaret was okay. Now, the way that I described Margaret nodding her head like this and just smiling,
I'm all good.
I thought that was what she was telling me, but I didn't realise. So there's two morals to the story there. The first one is always pay attention to the smallest detail when on an investigation. The smallest detail, because we overlook so much that happens when we're out. And then also realise that the simplest form of love is a smile. And that's it. And that was all that was needed. So that's very powerful for me. I know I ranted on a bit, but
no,
it's
that's
very
fine.
Powerful for me
Did it scare you when you were that age? Because I think I would literally shit myself in bed.
It did. It was actually not that occasion, but other occasions that terrified me, if you want to say that, and caused a lot of problems with me as a child. And I would go to see, believe it or not, child psychologists and things like that when they were looking into like ADHD and things. Because I would often talk about toys walking across the room towards me. I'd talk about faces in the wall. Now, you put yourself in the 80s, we're of a similar age group, and you try a 4-year-old telling you that. What do you think you're going to say? You're going to say he's a lunatic.
You're off the Crispins, mate. That's where you're going.
Well, hey, that was brilliant. I
don't mind going there, but yeah.
Again with the moon boot, I had the bad ankle down.
Yeah, Sherwood Forest, Crispins, hobbing along, carrier bags. It's so many great times.
It should have been a mini-series. But I'm going to remind you of something, actually, in regard that tying it all in. Yeah. Remember the moon boot and obviously going through and looking at the different venues. But you remember the spirit box, the Alice box?
Yes, at Delapre Abbey. Oh, another. It said new foot or something, didn't it?
New foot, bad leg or something, didn't it?
Yeah. On Alice, was that Alice? It was on Alice. I think I took a photo of the words. Yeah.
Can people still find that? That must be still floating.
Yeah, that's still on Mickey York channel. Yeah.
Check that out, because that was unreal. Because the timing of that, I was actually sitting down because I was complaining about my ankle.
Yeah,
and then
tired,
that happened. So that was pretty good, right?
It's amazing when you get these little things, like you say. Take note of the little things that you don't necessarily stand out to you while you're investigating. But if you take a step back, think about it, and think, oh my god, like that's amazing.
And it's like the touches. We talk. That sounds so dodgy, and I always have to be careful. I'm always looking around for Niall and making sure he's not hiding somewhere.
He's in your garden.
Probably. But there's always an innuendo that follows that. But the touches, when you go on investigations, how many times has people had their t-shirt tugged and thought they just snagged it on something, or heard a little whisper in their ear and have not really paid attention because they thought, oh, it's just a guest or whoever. It happens all the time.
It does. So you mentioned your TV work. So you've been on a few channels and a few programs. Katie Price, you went on. Did some investigating work for her. You worked with Jack Osborne, Spook Scotland. Is there any more? What else have you
quite a few. I did a lot of would you call it consultancy work? Sounds so pompous and so anal as well. I don't like using that.
Call the Ghost Hunter.
That'll do me.
Yeah.
So some producer somewhere has phoned me every now and again, just asking me about locations. You've probably had the similar things over time.
Not anymore.
Different chat. That way.
I'm past it now. I don't know the right people.
There you go. See, that's what makes you a legend, Mickey. That's what makes you a legend. I've got another 6 years to go. So.
Yeah. But, all right.
He's going to beat me up in a minute. Yeah, I've done things like for Paranormal Uncovered and a few other different things that I've done. In the background, just really being asked about what I think about different things or who I would suggest, and I'll actually quite like that side of the work, because I've seen a show that was on not so long ago where I recommended someone and now I see them shining and I think, well, good for them, get on with it.
That's good.
working for Spook Scotland was probably one of the strangest, weirdest, most difficult, and most best experience I've ever had. Because I had COVID, I had food poisoning. I was in the middle of the most beautiful place in the world in torrential rain, um, with some fantastic people, and we had a great time. And I made some friends for life. The fabulous Gail Porter.
Yeah.
I speak with Gail quite a lot. I spoke to her recently regarding some mental health stuff, and she's fantastic. Katie Price, another, as you would expect, absolute lunatic. Love the woman to bits. I mean, no harm by saying that. She's a fantastic lady and a fantastic mother.
Yeah.
But that was an experience and a half, and one that was a massive eye opener. I have to say that.
Did you speak to some? Did she have some sort of spirit there in her
Yes.
mansion? Yeah, the famous mansion.
There was a bit of chat going on with me and another investigator and Katie Price and stuff about what we should do about it and how we should take it forward, because she was having issues with Harvey and a few other people that were coming in and out of her house experiencing things. So we went along. It was on Quest Red. They did quite a good production on it, I think, to be fair, that whole show.
Yeah.
But you only see us for like a snippet at the end, but it was worth it. I loved it.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Ozzy. Ozzy was a legend.
Jack Osborne, yeah. I'm so gutted I had the chance to come and help you on that project.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I couldn't.
Well, that was the thing. And I was like ringing you in desperation saying, Mickey, please help. And the first thing you said was, do you know what? I would have done. But I think if I remember, you had other commitments that day.
I was busy at an event on the day, and I was so gutted. It. Yeah, I'd have been there in a heartbeat.
But what that shows you is the big rumour where everyone says, oh, once they get fame, they're away, or once they're involved in a project, they're away. Quite the contrary. You stuck to what you already had booked and what you already promised, and you've never done that. So that's what's important. But working at the Osborns was just, how do I explain that, Mickey? I mean, you'd actually probably be able to explain that better than I could. Unbelievable, and like a dream, I suppose. It was just weird.
Yeah, I used to watch the Osborne series when I was growing up, early 20s, and they're just awesome family. And for you to work with them, was it their haunted house in down south, wasn't it?
So in Buckinghamshire they have that's where their original family home is, obviously. Yeah. And it's like hundreds of years old, and it's on Welders Lane in Buckinghamshire. There's no secret that's on Google and what have you.
Exclusive.
It's exclusive. I've just given the Osborne's address live.
Whoops.
Oops. That is exclusive. But no, it's just brilliant. I mean, going down there, genuinely, I remember standing outside the front door doing an intro to camera, and they've got like this big massive clock at the front of the house. Yeah. And it was just weird standing there if you're a fan of the Osbornes, especially like you say, watching the show. Yeah. Standing there was so surreal, but they were brilliant. But I do have a funny story about it. A rather funny one. So I walked in. First thing I do, take my shoes off. We walked through, and of course I had Nick with me as well, didn't I? Yeah. Me and Nick sort of walked through, and we're like kids in a sweet shop. What's going on? And all the production crew were in the kitchen, so we went in there to get mic'd up and get all ready and any makeup that we needed or whatever. And one of the producers walks towards me, so I stick my hand out, and instead of saying, "Oh, hi there, how you doing?" I went, "Hi Jack, how's it going?" Then I looked to my left like that, and I could see Jack sort of sitting. He was eating his food, and he just went. And then I went, "Oh shit!" Left his hand. I wasn't even nice to him. I just left him. Walked down the side, walked over to Jack, and went, "Hi Jack." So,
sorry.
What a total fanboy thing to do, totally mucked that up.
So what was involved in that project?
So with the Osbornes, it was really there was different things that they were looking at in regards to the house and the grounds. It was all about Jack's homecoming to the UK and coming back from being in the stateside for so long, because he'd been out there quite a number of years.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then as they came back, I just got a phone call, which actually was quite another funny story. I got a phone call from a lady via Instagram and stuff, and she was saying to me, "Hi, I'm Hannah. I'm on a plane," and I ignored it and put it down. And anyway, the third time she phoned, she said, "Hi, I am Hannah. Was on a plane. I'm Jack's PA. I would like you to come down and do this show for Jack Osborne. He's personally requested you."
Wow.
So I thought, this is, I thought someone was on the wind up here,
Yeah.
Anyway, as you know, I gave you a call and I tried to arrange it. We went down, and really it was just to do a psychic sweep through of the actual Osborne's mansion. But not just that, the very first medium in history to ever step inside the Osborne's house. It's always been like a no-go zone for them.
Yeah,
and I remember Jack saying that to myself and Nick while we're there. I thought, wow, what a thing to say. Rock and Roll Hall of Famer, first medium in his house. I'll take that to the bank all day long. No problem.
Yeah, I can imagine. I bet it was very surreal and probably went past in like a blur. It was just.
But it did, and it's always like, when you wake up at Christmas, you plan the week running up to Christmas. You're like, oh, I wonder what I'm going to get. I wonder what I'm going to get. Christmas morning comes round, and before you know it, you're sleeping on the sofa, farting after Christmas dinner. Where's it gone? And that even Nick said to me in the hotel room. He said, "Look, I don't know what happened." He said, "But what an experience it was."
Yeah.
It was just completely surreal. But what was good was, when you do these projects, you always worry about falling flat on your face. And I felt that was going to happen, because you get personally anxious or whatever. And I went in, I did my work, and it wasn't until I watched the footage afterwards, because obviously I don't get to see Jack's reaction or what have you on how he's looking at the evidence. But when he looked back on it and he was speaking about it, he was able to clarify loads of the different things that I said. But you need to watch it. Go on Discovery Plus. It's on there.
I've seen it, yeah. It was him and Kate, wasn't it? Kate?
Yeah, Kate Chell, yeah. She's amazing. Absolutely. She's a breath of fresh air, but she's very, very knowledgeable as well. Very knowledgeable.
Yeah, so I think from what I remember, they clarified a lot of the things that you spoke about and what you picked up on, and they could verify it with doing their research into the building.
Exactly.
And that's all you can ask for, really, for your side.
And what I liked about it, and what made me smile the most, wasn't the fact that somebody was able to confirm my evidence, therefore making me look good at what I do. It wasn't that. It was when he said, "Do you know what I liked the most? It wasn't canned." He says that because the thing is there's a lot of that where mediums tend to behave like mediums and act out of character and put on all these theatrics, or theatrics, I should say. But whereas I just go in there and whether you like me, whether you hate me, I just do my thing and then I go home. It's that simple.
That's what you can do, really.
Yeah, that's it. Just be yourself, people.
So you mentioned Spook Scotland. Do you have any good locations there that you used?
I believe it was Balgony Castle, or I can't pronounce it properly. Please, there's going to be loads of Scottish people watching me now laughing. I can see Sally in the distance just going.
He's not really Scottish, he's Welsh.
I think the easy way out of it is go on to Discovery, find the show, go to episode 7, I believe it was, or something like that in the first season. But what's funny is that episode was actually the first one filmed, so that was going to be the setup of the show. And then of course Chris came in, and Chris did a fantastic job.
Chris Fleming,
Chris Fleming, so some would say, "Oh well, I'm a bit jealous," or not at all. I'm proud that somebody was able to fly the flag and do a great job on such a great production. But
it's a good show.
It is a good show, and it's very well put together as well. Very well put together.
Because there's a Spooked Island as well, isn't there? That series is out. Do you think they'll do a Welsh one?
Well, I could give you an exclusive if you like.
Why
I
not?
don't know. I'll tell you.
It makes sense anyway. It makes sense.
No, I have heard that we may not be seeing any more Spooked Scotland. Whether that actually works out that way or not is not for me to say. So I hope, and I keep my fingers crossed that one day we'll see some more. But because I just think that I love the way that, like you say, Wales or or anywhere else. They could probably take it European side or wherever.
Yeah.
I think that's a great idea.
It is a good idea. We'll take that. We'll make that.
That's it. We'll make a global show.
Don't steal it, people.
This is a global show.
One day. So, do you like the TV work? Is it something that you'd happily that you don't?
No, I love the experience of being a king for a day, if you like. I love the whole. I don't care what anyone says. If someone comes along and is going to massage your ego all day long, I don't care who you are, you're going to love it because it's a natural human reaction. So from that side of it, I love being pampered. I love being run about and people running after me. I just love. Listen, I'm not going to lie. Why bullshit? Just to make people.
I enjoyed it.
That's it. I love all that. But what I don't like is how I work, because with the way that I work, I can't just simply say to spirit, pause, wait there, I'll get back to you in 5 minutes, we'll do that again.
No,
sometimes, of course. And so from that angle only, I would say that no, I'd be more swayed to not doing it, if I'm honest. But only for that reasons, because it's very difficult to just go, hang on a minute, I'll get back to you in a minute when I'm talking to spirit. It's not as easy as that. Like.
Yeah, I suppose you can't tell them, wait a minute, we're not filming yet. Yeah, so from your side, what your job is on the TV and in the episode, it is going to be quite difficult for you to...
It is.
You know.
And there's so many different angles coming in at it. You've got to think about the cameras, you've got to think about the cables, you've got to think about lights, you've got to think about people and all the rest of it, all the while trying to keep that link. So that's the issue for me.
I imagine it's a very very difficult.
Yeah, but it is fun. Don't be put off.
It's brilliant.
Don't be put off by that. That's just how I work. Like Mickey might be very different or someone else, but you know, it's just how I work makes it difficult, is all.
Yeah. Do you have a pre-investigation ritual that you do? A favourite song you have to play to like buzz you up, or eat a certain food?
No, I have certain rituals, like I fast. Like I'm the sort of guy that no matter what I'm doing, I'll go into like meltdown. Even if it's the simplest things of putting your shoes on, jacket on, out the door. Yeah, I just go into these like different mindsets of panic when I'm trying to get ready to go out and different things like that. And I find that if I don't do those panic, the day goes wrong. It sounds stupid, but
do you have like a door in your mind that opens and closes when you communicate?
A gate is what I use.
A gate, yeah.
And it's just nothing fancy, and it actually comes from the early days of when I started meditation. And my mentor at the time would do like what's a guided meditation, so like talk you through the different things. And one of the things he said to me was, imagine going out the door, imagine walking on a stony path, you're going along a stony wall to your side, you come across a wooden gate, and the lady says to me, is the gate open? And I say to her, yeah, it's open. And then she says, right, now that's spirit telling you that you're ready to go and start working with them. So now I cut out all that stage. So now I'm still doing the walk along the wall and the gravel and all that. That's all part of taking my mind to the place. And then when I get to the gate, there's nobody asking me about the gate. The gate just is open. It's just ready. Yeah, and on I go and do whatever work is needed of me.
Have you ever done past life regression?
Yes.
I did that recently.
And how did you get on with that?
I had a meltdown. Yeah, afterwards I coming back from my life. I had to be brought back quickly because I started bawling. Literally screaming, crying. Yeah.
Can you remember why that was, if you don't mind me asking? Was
my past life, I was in Italy. It was like 1310. I had family, etc. And they kidnapped my family and killed them, these people on horses. And then it turns out I'd been captured and killed, like on top of some sort of mountain, like rock area. And when I was asked just after I'd passed, what I had learned, and I said I'd had to learn to protect my family. That was it. Crying, I was like shaking, crying, and he brought me round, and I was screaming, crying, I've never done that ever.
That's crazy how it works, because I can actually almost relate to that a little bit, because on my one I did it twice. I did it once live on TikTok
Oh wow.
for charity. Yeah, we raised quite a bit of money. I can't remember exactly, but it was over. I think it was about £1,000 or something. We raised a bit of money for it. But basically on that one, it was more about working with sleep and anxiety and stuff. So they started doing this past life regression on me, and I was talking about like different things about different periods of time, just nothing really detailed. And then he says to me, he said, if you could meet anyone in spirit, now this is an interesting thing, being a medium. He said to me, if you could connect to anyone in spirit, who would it be? I said, my mum. I said, I have so many regrets over my mum. I'd love to just hug her. And he started talking to me, and then I could see my mum, like there right in front of me. I could see my mum, and she came over, and I could feel her, and I could cuddle her. And now pay attention to what I'm saying. I'm cuddling her and I'm feeling her, and I could feel these tears going down my face. So anyway, this is while it's happening. So when I watch the footage back, you see me doing like a Patrick Swayze. You see me in the middle. You see me in the middle just hugging fresh air, and I'm doing this. And there's just tears just streaming down my face. But then when I did one with, I forget the lady's name, she was amazing as well. That's really annoyed me. I can't remember her name. She took me back to a time where I was able to give her a date. I can't remember the date exactly, but it turned out that I was in Poland. Now, I'd said to her that I felt like I was in like a chaotic scene with lots of people screaming. They were running about everywhere. I could hear lots of banging. And then all of a sudden there's a big flash, a big bang, and I'm gone. I'm floating upwards. And she said that it sounds like you died. So I described the street. I described how I looked, how my family looked. And we did a bit of Googling afterwards. It turns out that the exact location that I gave was a village in Poland. It was the first place to get in. I don't know if it was the first place, but it was when Germany first invaded Poland, which started World War II. And I found that quite interesting, like, you know.
Wow.
So, what age am I? I'm only like 41. And
you died, I think, pretty much came back.
Yeah, I think
not too far off, yeah.
Yeah, but it's like, I sort of like, when would that be? In 1940, when was that? Was it 41 or 39?
39, Second World War started, yeah.
Yeah, so, that's not long, is it?
No.
Wow. So there you go. 40 years later I was born, and I'm 40 years old now, so that's not bad.
You're winning. That's crazy, man.
It's mental, but it is such a freaky one, because I went through, I don't know if you did, but I went through different lives when she was doing it.
Just the one. That was my first one, yeah, and Paul Goddard did mine. Awesome bloke. And he brought me back and did me a cleansing and that afterwards, just to make sure I was okay. And
yeah.
I felt, to be honest with you, I felt so good afterwards. It was like I had so much years of stress coming out of me, and that cry, or embarrassing as it was, it really helped.
It really helped. A pride thing. Like,
I suppose, yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's your emotions. It's real, raw emotion.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the other one was I was on a boat. I was a young boy, and I was like looking after bodies and stuff. Like, you know, I know it sounds gruesome, but I was looking after bodies in the boat and cleaning them and things, which is interesting because I've done a lot of work with that myself in this life.
Yeah.
And it'd be interesting to look at anyone that's had a past life regression. Are there any similarities with the current life that you're living? That'd be an interesting thing to know. But I got murdered by a guy who basically kidnapped me from a village, put me on a boat. I was cleaning bodies, and then he took me off to some island, and I think it was Italy or Spain or something, and killed me.
Wow.
On a beach. And it was just bizarre. So I was straight on Google afterwards, but I couldn't find anything on that, like, you know.
Wow. Yeah. So over all the years that you've been doing this, what's your proudest moment? within the paranormal field. Yeah,
is meeting people like you.
Oh, thank you.
No, it genuinely is. It's meeting people like you and some of the fans, some of the members of the public, and then definitely the celebrities. Of course, I'm not going to lie. It's nice to meet famous people. But genuinely working with people like you, because we've spoke on many occasions about doing things mainly the old school way and things like that.
Yeah.
And how we started is very, very similar. Going around in different events and stuff. And that is what makes what we do worthwhile. It's seeing the pleasure on people's face, whether they get a message or a really good ghost hunt or whatever. It's just the natural love. The natural love for what we do. That's what I enjoy most. That's what yeah.
So, you told me in the past about an incident that happened at possibly one of your favourite places. First off, where's your favourite location you've ever been to?
Jedburgh Castle Jail.
There you go. We're on it anyway.
Yes.
Fair enough. Yeah, so an incident happened at Jedburgh Jail that blew my mind when you told me. So let's have a chat about that.
So, that's a bit of an not emotional, but it takes me back and gives me some weird feelings, that's for sure. And not in a good way. But with cell 18 is the cell. I'll just go straight for it and tell you exactly. So cell 18, I was there, not a lot was happening. I was on a public event. It was a very sort of, not quiet night, but it was calm. There was not a lot going on. And I thought, in my great wisdom, to get a chair and plonk it in cell 18, which was a hive of activity, and just see if I could sort of meditate and try and build that energy. And while I did so, again, naively, I had the public in front of me using a Ouija board on the ground. And they were basically just doing what you would expect, asking out questions while I sat in what you might call a trance state. But I didn't realise that I was going so deep. I mean, I didn't realise that I was connecting so strongly with the spirit.
Yeah.
Again, I put that down to simple naivety. And anyway, I was sitting there and I found that, I don't really have any memory of this. It's just looking back on the footage, which is floating around on YouTube. I think I showed you it, didn't I?
I do have footage, yeah.
Yeah. And in the footage, you can see me go into a trance state. You can see, if you listen very carefully, you can hear me speaking in a very posh English accent, if memory serves me correctly. And you see my feet going like that, starting to twist round, and you can see that the rest of my legs are not moving, my knees are not moving, it's just my feet. So if you try doing that now, if you're watching at home, please don't hurt yourself or anything like that, but just try turning your feet without moving your knee or without turning your knee. It's nearly impossible. But you see my feet sort of scuffing around like this, then you see my face looks like it's starting to withdraw. I become really violent. But just before I sort of did that, somebody asked me what my name was, and I said my name, if I remember, was Michael, or something like that. And while that was getting said, on the board, it was spelling the exact letters out. So as I was spelling the name, or the spirit was spelling the name, the board was spelling it exactly the same time. And I had obviously no touch with the board, no contact with the board, and they were all members of the public. So there's no way that any of them were coerced into doing anything, and they didn't know. But the worst bit about it is when I started kicking off and I started getting very aggressive, you can hear me growl, which sounds like a devil or something. I'm going, "Arr," and stuff like that. It just doesn't sound right. And I attack the cameraman. Now, the guy is 6'4" and an amateur boxer. And I was literally grabbing him. I'll give him a shout out if he's watching. Lee Wallace. He's one of the co-founders of Spirit Finders UK. So please go check him out. The guy, absolute monster of a man. And I was just flinging him around like an empty tracksuit. And then you'll see where it cuts to the outside camera that was focused on the hallway outside. You see Lee grabbing me and lifting me and sort of dragging me across the floor. And you just see me collapse in a heap and then get up and walk away.
I remember that. It's crazy.
It was the worst experience I've ever had in my life with Spirit. That was terrifying.
So how did the public react to that?
Well, I can't remember if
scared.
Yeah, I can't remember if the footage had the sound on it or not, but there was a lot of screaming. The women were screaming. They didn't know what to do. You can hear members of the public on the footage shouting, if it's still on there, shouting, Ryan, Ryan, come back to us, Ryan, Ryan, and I'm just lost cold control. And I think the important thing, I know I'm waffling a bit, but I know the important thing is to remember is I'm actually quite a big lad, even though I'm skinny. I'm 5'8". That's no small guy, So
No.
That's a big weight in a tiny little cell to be flinging people about, and hope it doesn't happen again. But I am going back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going back with Spook Scotland in September, I believe. I think it's September the 29th.
It's another exclusive. I like it.
I like it a lot.
Is there a certain way to bring you back round after you're in, not necessarily possession, but in state of communication when you don't know what's happening?
Yeah, I think the word possession is a strong one, isn't it? Because as soon as you say possession, everyone's like, oh, you get the old crucifix out and all that. It's just understanding the deep states of trance. And sometimes, no matter how experienced you are, this is why you must always be, not necessarily be prepared, but just be ready.
Yeah.
That is being prepared, isn't it? But, just be ready for all eventualities, because no matter how experienced you are, things can always go wrong, whether it's driving, psychic mediumship, or whatever it might be. And it does happen. But yeah.
Because I've witnessed somebody going into what I thought was, we'll call it a possession.
Yeah.
For somebody, and very out of character. And they were in the Haunted Museum in Nottingham.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah.
On one of the metal slabs from Denbigh Asylum in North Wales, and he went into, we'll call it possession, and he was making strange growling noises. He was at first I thought, oh, he's asleep, and then he started making these noises, and we're all around, people like laughing, thinking it's funny, not realizing, thought he was messing about. Yeah, not realizing this was happening. And the thing that changed it for me is when he started scraping his nails on the metal in a horrible sound. I hate that. But it was the fact the nails were like bending backwards, and I'm like, no, that ain't normal, And we were trying to speak to him and bring him back round, assure him.
Yes.
And after a couple of minutes, he came back. So I just wondered if that's how you do it. You have to get in contact with the original person and say, look, come and wake up. We're here for you. Come round.
Think of it like just trying to get someone's attention, really. That's basically what you're doing. So you've got two people there obviously fighting over the same mind or the same whatever, So basically what you've got to do is, like you say, just get that contact with the original person, that being me, like the physical person. Make sure you get that contact. Now, with me, you just simply need to talk to me. Just put your hand on my shoulder. Just let me hear your voice. I'll do the rest of the work, because where I'm that experienced, and it's not a showboating or ego thing. It's just where you learn things that make your life easier as you go along, and that's all I've done. I've just perfected how I do it. So I know that when I hear your voice or someone else's, I just listen. Just keep talking to me. Keep talking to me until you start getting responses where it's a nod or my eyes opening or whatever it may be. Yeah. And if it's bad, get me out of the situation. But the worst thing you can do is touching a medium, or I should say, touching them in a shocking manner, like too quickly or too rough.
Yeah, don't do that.
So just treat me like a baby or anyone else. The wife says I do that every day, but just get me out of the situation, and then I should be okay in a few minutes.
Yeah, just touching on that subject, do you believe in demons? Or have you ever experienced a demon?
Okay, I'm going to say that demons, so far as big claws, horns, all bollocks, rubbish, forget it. But let's not forget the human understanding as well, because from Spirit's point of view, if you're a bad guy in Spirit, if you're a Myra Hindley or any of these sort of people, and that's what you might call a demon, for instance. Everyone has their own opinions and their own I'm not saying that what I'm telling you now is correct. I'm not telling you that you've got to believe everything I say. But this is my opinion. And anyone that's like of the Myra Hindleys, the Hitlers, anyone like that, that's on the other side of life, their first thought is, how do I scare this individual? How do I frighten this individual? What's going to make them run out the door screaming? Well, I tell you what's going to do that. The cliche horns and big wings. And so when people say they see a shadowy man going across with big claws and a big hat and all that, the chances are it's just how the spirit's showing themselves. It's not actually what they are. You know, it's just ways of them scaring you. Shadow people, demons, it's all spirit. It's just different forms. A bit like you go into the public and you'll meet different forms of people in life. You'll meet happy people, the people that are painting pictures, the people that are doing nice things. Then you'll meet the bad people. And I feel that so far as the name demon, that's just a label. Yeah. But I believe that there is bad, negative spirits. Absolutely.
What do you think of the current state of the paranormal at the moment?
It's an absolute laughingstock, to be fair. Yeah. And I'll be absolutely brutally honest with it. I'm not going to dress it up for how it is, because that isn't how things move forward correctly. It's not about being a dickhead, excuse the language. It's not about coming on here and slagging people off. It's not about coming on and being nasty. It's about saying, how can you make a field that you love, that being the paranormal, or a football team, even if it was something like that, how do you make it better without being brutally bloody honest? And it is a laughingstock. Why, folks, if you're watching this getting pissed off about Karen down the road because she's got better equipment than you, or she's going to a better location, or even a foreign country to do a ghost hunt, who cares? Concentrate on what you're doing. The right things will happen to the right people. That's what I say.
Yeah, that's definitely
just bollocks.
Yeah, I think it's improved this year, personally.
No, I think that the different levels are improving. I think that the way people investigate is improving. The equipment that they're using is improving. I just think that if you don't change that attitude and stop with the keeping up with the Joneses and arguing with every Tom, Dick and Harry, you're never going to get taken seriously. It's never, ever going to work out properly, because somebody will piss you off, you'll walk away from the group and you'll be starting all over again. It happens all the time. So you better not focus on yourself.
Yeah, definitely. Do you ever watch paranormal shows on telly?
Yeah, I watch. Well, not so much these days, because as I say, I'm deliberately taking a year out and doing different other things behind the camera. Still paranormal related, but sort of taking a step back. So no, not really as much as what I have done, but I love my ghost adventures. I know people have mixed opinions on that, but I don't watch it to sit there and poke fingers like I've just said. I sit there because I enjoy it.
Enjoy watching it. Yeah.
I'm a bit sorry, and I need to pick it up again for Ghost Brothers, because I quite liked that, if I'm honest. I thought that was hilarious. It was just funny, and I think I might need to pick that up again and start catching up on that, because I quite enjoyed that.
They had a few series of that, didn't they?
And I did a bit of work with them in the early days. With the hauntings. Well, when we had I should say when I had the Paranormal channel on Facebook. I'm just making that bloody clear. I had the Paranormal channel. When I had that, sort of the setup I had for that Nick Groff, I actually spoke to Nick several times on the phone about different things backwards and forwards. It was obviously group meetings, but we were talking about how the Paranormal channel format could work on a paid platform. And anyway, I gave him the idea, and he went away, and I can't remember the name. Is it Vidi Space or Haunted Space?
Or something like that. Yeah.
So that actually, whether anyone believes me or not, I've got nothing to prove. I really don't care. But it's facts are facts. I helped Nick build that, and I thought that was awesome. Yeah.
That's good. You don't really hear about that anymore, so maybe that's
you don't.
Not going anymore.
Exactly, but again, it comes to the things about it's trial and error. It's just whatever you do, just go out there, be you, do you. You know.
Because you could make 5 or 6 or 7 ideas that you have in the pipeline. You put them into production, you make them.
Yeah.
They might not take off, so you try again until something sticks, really. And sometimes the things that probably not the best work you've done,
Yeah.
people like it and they stick with it, and it's like, oh, okay.
I think the thing is the constant is don't stop trying to be like everybody else. Go out and put your own spin on it. You know,
do what you want to do. Do your own thing.
Yeah.
What makes
Don't
you
look
happy?
at Most Haunted. Don't look at any teams like any group. Don't look at things like that on TV and think, or Spook Scotland or any Help My House is Haunted or any of these sort of things. Don't look at anything like that and think, oh, I'm going to go out and do exactly the same, because why would any production team or anything like that want the same as what they've already got?
Yeah.
So, you know, put your own spin on it, and most importantly, don't change you. Just keep doing it.
Yeah. One thing I'm very thankful for of meeting you is when you spent time with Janet.
Oh, yes.
My haunted doll over there.
I do miss Janet. I do.
I miss Janet. We were in the village, and you spent some time in the little cells down there with her, and you gave me. Huh?
I was just going to say, which was purely accidental again, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
Because we just said, or you said, should we go down and just sort of see ourselves while they were on a break, and and that was it, you know. And
you gave me some information about her. About possibility of two spirits being within the vessel. The little girl obviously being Janet, which she gave me her name on Spirit Box. But you also said that there was a man, like a watcher, connected with Janet, or connected with the vessel anyway. And you believe that dark magic forced her into the vessel. And I thought, oh wow, that's amazing. It was good to get your take on it from being a medium, or what you do. Maybe you can pick up on things that I can't pick up on,
sure,
or equipment can't pick up on. But I've also had somebody else say exactly the same thing since.
Oh wow!
That's for me. That blows my mind. The fact that you got that, and she also got that. Penny, her name is. Hello, Penny.
But you see, again, hi, Penny. But again, it's one of them things that, you know, that's what you asked me earlier about, you know, what's been the thing I've loved doing the most, and different things like that in the paranormal. It is definitely love. I actually get quite emotional about that right now, Mickey. And I know that's maybe going a little bit sidetracked, but it really does make me emotional. I'm not hamming it up or playing up to camera, but I think back to some of the memories I've had with you. And going around the different locations, some of the memories I've had with Nick and a few other different people, Lee Wallace, who I just spoke about a minute ago, and I look back and I think, bloody hell, I've not really got a lot to complain about, have I? Like yourself, you've done a fair bit yourself. You must look back and think, do you know what? I've done quite well for myself. I've done all the different things that I needed to do. So, you know, it does make me a little bit emotional from time to time. I think back to Janet, and different things like that, and I think, do you know what? It's those days, those times, those random events that just is what makes it all worthwhile.
Yeah, it's just
building.
It's just building up the repertoire of life as we go along, and just trying to, I don't know, enjoy life, make memories of the journey that we're on within the paranormal things that we are doing.
It does,
you know.
And I think the thing that changed my mindset was not so long ago in my cancer that I got. I had a really bad cancer scare, and I remember sitting on the edge of my bed. By the way, I've got the all clear now. I'm currently just need to be checked every 3 months and stuff, but that's just standard practice. But I've been lucky enough that I'm not by any means looking for sympathy. I've got the all clear, but what put things, and it's a shame that those type of life events is what it takes sometimes to just still the mind and make you think, actually, what is important in life? What am I needing to do? And I remember sitting on the edge of my bed, just crying my eyes out, as you'd expect, thinking, fucking hell, you know, I'm going to be dead in however long. You know, that's the first, I don't care what anyone thinks, that's the first thought that goes through your head.
Of course it is, yeah, definitely.
And I was unlucky enough to allow that to overtake me for a while. Which is understandable, I suppose. And it did. It made me put things into perspective and have moments remembering things like Janet and different things, thinking, do you know what? I've done all right. You know, I've had a good time. So now I can go out and stop having to stick to rules. I can go out and be me. I can go out and do what I want to do, how I want to do it, which is how it should have been the whole time. So that's why I'm an ambassador for saying to people, do it your own way. Don't live up to the cameras. Don't do it to please other people. Enjoy yourself.
Yeah, it definitely shows you or reminds you what's important in life when you have scares like that, whether it's for yourself, family, people you love.
Sure.
And it does make you think, and like I say, enjoy yourself, and don't take life too serious.
One day they're not going to be here, or you're not going to be here, or whatever the case may be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But just talking about
a very sad moment there, but
I know we won't cry too much. We'll be fine.
We're just getting I know what we're doing, Mickey. We're getting all the emotions out the way, aren't we? So So in a minute we're going to go.
Hey, I'm used to crying on camera. Don't worry. At the moment, it's fine.
We've lost all that weight. Now we're crying about it.
Yeah. Shut up.
You gotta just laugh. You gotta laugh.
I know. So over the year, what?
You missed that.
What?
Just I was talking to you. The fucking bumblebee or whatever it was just came and sort of was in front of the camera there and fucked off.
Oh, that'd be in it.
You need to look back on that. Yeah. Well,
was it really there though?
This is the thing. Let the viewers decide.
It could be an orb.
Comment now if you're watching. Comment now and tell me if you saw a blue.
If you saw that, yeah. Because I didn't see it. Don't know what you're talking about.
That's it. Who knows?
Is there any haunted story or locations you believe to be fake?
Yes.
Pray tell.
Absolutely, categorically, without a shadow of a doubt, the village of Mansfield.
Ooh.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ooh, controversial.
It was all. The village was one of these locations that was haunted. Yes, obviously there was spirit coming and going.
Yeah.
Spirit coming and going everywhere, but a lot of that story, you'll notice if you look back on any of the stories that anyone knows about that, you won't find a great deal about it, or if anything. So I'll leave that for you to decide. Then there was also different events that took place there that were absolutely staged, 110%. All I say is look back at some of the footage. I'm not saying all of it was faked. I'm not saying that all of it was nonsense. All I'm saying is whenever you've been at the village, and I'm not even naming names or nothing, or teams, just look back at the footage and do your own work, your own homework on that. That's all I'm saying. And the only reason I'm being like that is not to be all cloak and dagger. It's just purely because there's some absolute fanny snowflakes out there that will just turn that the opposite way. And I can't be bothered with that drama. So at the end of the day, I do believe, in my opinion, that's probably the smartest way to say it.
Yeah, in your opinion, yeah.
In my opinion, the place is not haunted any more than the home that you live in.
Yeah. So what would you change about the paranormal, if you could?
Exactly that.
Oh.
I would change why people need to fake.
Yeah. Because
the thing is what they forget is the viewer, although they don't want to sit there and watch 4 or 5 hours of being bored in the dark or whatever, they still want to be part of it.
Yeah.
So if you're just going to be throwing stones or slamming wicker doors by your hand on the other side and your mate runs off and gets caught in the background where a shadow stands up, remember I said that, look for it. Anyway, when that sort of thing happens, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't see the need for it. It's just utterly pointless.
Yeah. If it's in a way, it's better to show a video of nothing happening, of an investigation. Because then at least you're credible. And
sorry, I keep going like this because that fly jet. You will see it. I promise I'm not losing the plot.
It's not really there.
What's that Martin Lawrence film, National Security? Where he's going,
oh yeah. It's a good film, that.
But no, I don't see the point in doing it because at the end of the day, it gets you nowhere. So that's what I would change. I would change this theatrical shit. Just get it out the window. Stop doing it.
So a question I've got for you is, obviously we spoke about demons and what they could possibly be, spirits taking over, people we see in spirits on a day-to-day investigation. What about other things within the spiritual world, like like aliens, skinwalkers, things like that? Do you believe in those?
Actually, to a degree, yes.
Yeah.
absolutely, you would. In my opinion, again, I keep using that. Again, I just look at the aliens and things to say you'd have to be pretty naive to think that there isn't alien life forms. Now, the first thing you think about is a grey or green guy with a big boggly eyes or a googly eyes or whatever. In reality, we're talking about plants. We're talking about germs, fungi. We're talking about all these things that are going to be in other planets. Of course they are. Minerals, different things. You know, that's why I would say is alien the better. You saw that there, surely.
I did see it. I saw it.
Really bugging me, that. It's one of those. Do you hate that one solitary summer blue bottle that comes in the window?
Yeah, and never leaves.
Oh man, you see it at Christmas. Yeah, you know, I believe in aliens. I believe the aliens, but it's like I would be looking more at that alien life form being plants or germs and different.
Not the grey man.
No, I think that is the case, but be a lot further away, I think.
Yeah. Why would they visit us?
Yeah, well, just for the shits and giggles. It's like we get the stag buses of the alien species, don't they? They all jump on their stag bus, they rock up in their little stag alien ship, and they all just look at us and go, "Oh, look at those clowns!"
Yeah, silly.
And then away. So we're just Saturday night TV for them, like, you know.
Do you think the paranormal is good for your mental health? Can it be a good thing or a bad thing?
I think it's a 50-50, if I'm honest. I'm not going to say one way or the other because I think it depends on who you are and what your mindset is going into said situation. But I would say it can be both good and bad because some of the support you gave me particularly, and I know it's kind of kissing your arse a little bit, but I'm being honest, facts are facts. You often checked on me only so much as a couple of weeks ago, privately, aside from the work stuff that we talk about. Nick's the same, many other people, and that's what I think can be good for you. Where it becomes bad for you, I think, is if you get yourself caught up in that negativity or that he said, she said stuff.
Oh, the drama, yeah.
Yeah, that's no good for anyone.
No
good for anyone. And of course, the energies that you work with as well. You know, just because I can get what you might call a possession or a trance situation, spirit can also affect you. So you go into locations and you might come away from that location feeling suicidal, or you might come away and people might say no way, but you can come away feeling really low and having that energy impressed on you. And if you're not looked after properly, if the situation's not looked after properly, you could be in a lot of trouble. You know? Yeah,
it's a scary time sometimes. I mean, do you think if you're feeling in a negative state before you go out, like your life is really hard at the moment, you're going through lots of bad times, going on a paranormal investigation can make it worse? Do you think some negative form or energies can attach themselves to yourself?
Absolutely.
And make it worse?
I always say, absolutely, because I always say like attracts like. Now, if you wake up in the morning and go into this world and have a negative attitude, I promise you're going to have the worst day in history, you know. And it's just the way it's guaranteed to work because you only see what you feel. Now, people will be going, "What are you on about?" But you do. You only see what you feel. So if you feel that people are doing the dirty on you or whatever, you'll see that, and that's how your mindset will be. And that's what I mean by that. So like attracts like. I think if you're feeling negative, down in the dumps, even suicidal or anything like that, just take some time for you. You don't need to go out and do these things. I know that sometimes getting out and seeing people is what might be needed to help you pick you up a bit. But why not go and see some family? Why not go to the pub with your mates? I think sometimes that energy shouldn't be mixed with if you're really feeling that way.
Yeah, I mean, in the past, I used to thrive on negativity. I was Mr. Negative, always taking every location I've been to. I was taking little bits of the negative and filling myself with them. And in a weird way, it was sort of nice. I sort of enjoyed it. What's going on in you got to look at what's going on in your own life at that time as well. Oh yeah, I wasn't in a good place for a while, and now I'm all good. Everything's all positive and that, so it's definitely changed. And I think, like we spoke earlier about the past life regression, that release of, call it negative energy from the crying and the bawling, that definitely, I think it did feel like a release of all the shit I'd been through, and me finally admitting it or accepting it or whatever it was. It's gone, and it's amazing.
Do you think that a lot of who we are now is what we carry from past lives?
Oh, I do now, definitely.
So
yeah, 100%.
That's exactly why I say that. That's exactly why I said that, because I was thinking, as you were saying that, there I was thinking, well, that's actually a good way of looking at it. Maybe talking about and going through those experiences of a past life regression. So big up your friend, and Paul Goddard, was it?
Yeah.
Go check out Paul and get yourself booked in, folks, because maybe that is what helps release that. What's the word I'm looking for? That burden.
Yeah.
Is that the right word? Burden?
No, you could have burden. Maybe you've got an underlying guilt that you don't know why you feel guilty for something in life. That maybe you're, like you say, you've took it from another life that you don't remember.
Yeah.
And to get in your subconscious to release it.
If energy doesn't disperse, if energy can't be dispersed, right?
Yeah.
If energy is a constant source, then energy from life A, let's call it A, B, and C. Life A, you take into life B, so there's got to be elements, traces. There's got to be something connected to that there. And then, of course, going into life C, which is the current life, if you want to look at it like that, there's got to be elements of this has to be. If we're supposed to be made up of energy, then surely there's a bit there.
That would bring in the whole reincarnation thing, though, wouldn't it? So that's another tunnel to walk down.
But it's almost a two birds with one stone, that one, though, isn't it? Because it's either reincarnation, but it's past life regression.
Or spirit, yeah.
So you kind of you're looking at two angles. Is past life regression real? And if it is, that then suggests reincarnation, which some religions are dead set against.
Yeah. So, yeah, I never thought about it that way. Because me personally, I don't want to come back as someone else. I want to be Mickey. I'll be a spirit floating around annoying people as I do in life.
I'll do in death. Go, yo, Mickey, you're so funny.
Yeah. But
it's just, I can imagine it, us two rocking through every life, every era, just rocking out the same. We'll be like fucking. If Timu, is that how you say it? Because there's a big thing about how you actually say that, isn't it? Is it Timu, isn't it?
Timu, yeah.
Yeah. So maybe we're like the Timu version of Bill and Ted, like, you know, we can go.
Yeah. Who knows? So do you have an opinion of what happens when we die? Do you have a secret message from the other side? Do you know? Do you have a strong opinion of that?
Yeah, I do have I do have things in conversations with spirit.
Yeah.
Obviously, when I'm meditating and just sitting at home, and there's been certain things said to me that makes me think, oh, makes that interesting. That's quite food for thought. And I remember I was asked that the question that everybody asks: what happens when you pass? What happens when that moment finally comes? Do you see your loved ones? Well, I believe that you do. I'm of the opinion that you absolutely do. This is what I've been told. That indeed your loved ones come close. Also, you'll find that people we were talking about our past lives, but we're always connected with the same sort of group of people as we bounce through different lives and different scenarios. That's what they say.
I've heard that, right?
Yeah. So roles may change in each life, what have you. So remember that when you pass in each life, you're not going to initially recognize every face you see. You're going to maybe see someone from a past life, a loved one from a past life, who comes forward because they love you, they remember you, they know who you are. And if you like, there's a transition period of understanding. So going from the physical to the spiritual side of life, you won't initially go, oh, fucking hell, yeah, I know how this all works. No, it's going to take a little while. But of course, time is no concept because that's a physical thing.
Yeah.
But I believe that your loved ones do come forward. I believe that you go into the way it was explained to me, and I swear to God, Spirit are having an excellent laugh at me up there. Like, they must be thinking, how do we go down to Ryan today and we tell him this new thing that he needs to know? How do we teach him? So this is the explanation I got. When you pass, you go into a little room, and when you go into that little room, you'll get put in a nice big comfy chair that kicks back, and you'll look at a nice big screen, and on that screen will be your life. It'll be different moments in your life, and you'll sit there with your guide or whoever that's there beside you. They'll be talking to you. Do you accept responsibility for this time you punched Mickey in the face for asking you an awkward question on a podcast? But you get the point. Good things will happen, and they'll show you that, and you just look at your life and be happy with it. And once you're happy with it, you can move on. Yes, reflection. Yeah. But yeah, that's what I believe. I believe that, and that there's loads of variants of that throughout life, isn't there? People talk about different ways that happens.
Yeah, when a major incident happens in your life that stops you in your tracks, and like you say, you take a step back and just think, whoa, calm down,
It's strange when we always ask, is spirit real? Is there really an afterlife? Do ghosts really exist? In my opinion, absolutely. Because there's been so many things in my life that have happened that you think there's no possible way that can be explained other than for it to be paranormal or supernatural or whatever. Yeah.
Because you're getting messages in your head from spirits, from ghosts, from dead people, as it were. Yeah. If they're not real, then you're pretty mental. Yeah. Well, is that what it is? They could think that that's a mental illness. Well, some people do think that, don't they?
Do you know what? In all seriousness, and not to ridicule what I do, and this is actually quite controversial because I'd love to find another medium that says something similar. But the thing is, we probably could be absolutely psychotically mental. We don't know. How do we know that in 100 years' time, when they've done all the advancements in technology and health and medicine and all that, that they don't turn around and say, actually, this whole time you've just all been crazy? We don't know. But for me, it's real. The experiences I've had are real. The voices I have from spirit that speak to me is absolutely real. And if somebody somewhere tells me I'm crazy, well, I'm fine with that because I've never caused me any harm. No. So, that's that.
Yeah, so definitely mental health plays a big part in the paranormal. Has it affected you in any way?
Yeah, I mean, the paranormal, as I say, the paranormal can either help or it can't help. It depends on the individual and what it is they're actually going through. Mental health, of course, is going to be a massive thing. It has been a massive thing for me, as I sort of briefly touched on my cancer thing a minute ago. But it's going to be, because I'm going to make it a huge, huge focal point. I don't think there's enough information, help, or what have you out there for people who do something. There is certainly progress being made already, but there needs to be more. There's too many people taking their own lives and stuff like that. And again, maybe controversial to some and maybe quite heavy for some people to hear, but only a matter of about 3-4 weeks ago, I tried to take my own life.
Whoa.
Yeah. That's why I did that. It's it was quite hard. I haven't.
Wow.
Nobody's seen me. Nobody's seen me on social media much over the past year and a half. I've maybe posted.
No.
I've had death threats, which I can't talk about. I've had death threats. I've been extremely bullied. There's been. I can't really even go into it too much because there's obviously legal things happening. And then, of course, my cancer thing. Now, one of these people said to me, you know about my granny in the house.
Yeah.
I put it into perspective as to how this tipped me over the edge was because one of those scumbags actually messaged me in a chat and said, "You back in the place where your granny blew herself up?"
Wow.
Now, that's just what is going through people's heads? It's ridiculous. And I've obviously been struggling with my own mental health and demons and different things through my own life experiences, such as my granny's house blowing up. I've lost both parents. I've got 2 kids in spirit. My grandparents have gone. I have no older family other than like a couple of aunties and uncles and stuff.
Yeah.
But no, I've got no immediate family. I mean, it's just my sister in Glasgow and stuff. That's it. And it just eventually caught up on me. Everyone throughout life would say, Ryan's a rock, Ryan's always there for me, Ryan's the first guy to stand in front of me, Ryan's that guy.
Yeah.
But I just got sick of people saying, Ryan, always expecting, always knowing, but I don't know, I have no reason to say where did it all come from. It just all caught up on me.
It's a build-up.
Yeah. And unfortunately, doing what I do and what I've done for many years is made a lot of people jealous over the years. And it will probably make more people jealous, but it is what it is. You'll always get people who are not happy that it's not them, or they turned down opportunities or whatever and didn't make that step forward in life, which I did. But I got in the car. I got in the car, a Ford Mondeo. Nothing fancy about that, but it was a nice Ford Mondeo, very fast one. I actually clocked over 125 miles an hour in that car, to be fair. So It was all right. But I got in the car. The wife was sat in the car with me. I wasn't just going to take my own life. I was going to take my wife's life. So let make that clear as well. Now that may shock a lot of people, but I think the only way that people pay attention to mental health, they're all happy to say, I would stand up to camera, I would do this, I'll post this and show them what a hero I am. No, utter bollocks.
Until something happens.
Yeah.
To shock people, yeah.
So you go ask one of those famous people, other than the ones who are obviously already doing it, go and ask them to get on camera and talk about their most embarrassing moment in life. I bet they won't do it.
They won't, no.
That's the problem. That is exactly the problem. That's it. That's how you solve it. Well, not how you solve it. That's the issue with life. But as I don't give a shit. You can take my camera away from me. You can take my K2 away from me. But you know one thing you'll never take from Ryan Griffiths? That's my fucking love, mate. Yeah. I love everybody. And people can sit there and feel pity for me. Don't feel pity for me. I'm just a human being. The only reason you're watching this and maybe feeling pity for me is, yes, you have a heart. Of course you do. You've got feelings. But it's because I'm speaking up. Now, you might think that's a bit strange thing for me to say, but is it really? Look at what I'm actually saying. What I'm saying is, don't feel pity for me. Instead, go out there and make it a normal fucking thing.
Yeah.
Why can't you just go and help people without getting your cameras on there? Without pointing at, look at me giving food to the homeless? Well, fuck off. Go out there and actually do something for these people. So, as I say, I got in there. Loads of different things were going on. I was putting up with police and things leading to death threats, and things like that. And I just got on top of me. I got in an argument with a wife, which happens. And we're in the car and I'm driving along. I just started speeding like I was a Formula One driver, like. And this is on single track roads, and there's like drops on each side. I'll do a video or something and show you sometime the roads. It's quite dangerous. I slammed on the anchors and jumped out the car while it was still moving. And I don't know what was going through my head. I walked along the road. I had a mobile phone. I smashed my mobile phone and then lobbed it into a lock. And then I drove off. I went off with the intention to take my own life. But when I was in the car and I pulled the handbrake on, I did that. That was my would you call it the real me? Where I sort of kicked into life and thought, stop this car before I hurt someone. And that's why I jump out, because it was me I was trying to take away from the situation, not my wife, obviously.
Yeah. Oh wow, your sense kicked in. Your sense of you have to live, which we all have it within us. And
the thing is, as I said to someone before, they said, "Oh, I feel sorry." Don't feel sorry for me. I know 110% there was a day in your life, Mickey, you sat there and thought, I don't really want to be here anymore. It happens. Everybody's had that moment. My case is just one of the sad statistics that life just got on top of me. I was doing an awful lot of work. I was traveling all over the country. I was never stopping. I was always on the go. And I just needed to make time for me, which I forgot. And of course, COVID, working both lockdowns on the ambulance, that sort of sent me a wee bit a bit down, because I was working like stupid hours, as you know. And it just got on top of me. I don't
know what to say, man. That's very heartbreaking.
I know, man, it is, but there's
You know.
other people. There's other people other than me that's been there. So I don't. You don't need to say anything. All it needs is somebody to see that. Even if we started now speaking about Arsenal and Man City and never spoke another thing about mental health, it doesn't matter. Nobody needs to say sorry to me or I feel bad or whatever. They don't. What's important is somebody has just heard that little bit there and thought, do you know what? Doesn't
I'm
matter
there.
who we are.
Yeah, I'm also at that point.
Yeah.
You know, and hopefully
That's it.
your words can help other people.
And I tell you now, if anybody's watching this, and they think that they can't get to that light at the end of the tunnel, then speak to me. Drop me a message. I've got all the time in the world. I am working professionally still, but I'm taking time out for me. I will make time for you.
Yeah.
And I promise you, within 24 hours, I will reply back to you and we'll have a chat. Won't let you suffer alone. It's not worth it.
Wow.
That's it, mate.
Give you a clap for that, man. That's takes a lot to admit all that sort of stuff. And
yeah, but at the end of the day, as I said earlier, nobody can hurt me. That's what makes me so dangerous at what I do. Nobody can hurt, and I don't mean that in a violent way. I just mean theoretically, because nobody can hurt me because what you're going to do? You can't physically hit me. You can't do anything like that. I said, and the second thing is what? It's only words. It's only things. You can't take away the fact that I have half a dozen firsts in the paranormal field. I've worked with some of the greatest celebrities in the world, especially not just in the world, but relevant to what we do.
Yeah.
You know, at the end of the day, what can you do? So if TV never touch me again because I've admitted to trying to kill myself, well, good luck to them. Stick your telly up your arse. I'm enjoying my life, and that's it.
Yeah, that's all you can ask for, really, isn't it?
Exactly.
Wow. After
Sorry,
that, don't know what to say. After that bombshell, I've got 2 questions left for you.
Go.
First one, bucket list location anywhere in the world you want to go to.
The bucket list location, there is only one. Well, obviously there's many, like I go to Waverly Hills and different things. But the one for me, Alcatraz.
Oh, nice.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
But I don't just want to go and visit. I want to spend some time there. I want to do some studying there. I want to do a proper in-depth analysis and different work. You know,
a week sleeping there.
But I'd like it like a one-on-one type thing, or 4 people maximum. Just go away and have somebody there to cover all angles.
Yeah.
And all do your work. That's what I'd like to do. Proper work.
Wow. That's good, man. Definitely.
So you getting the tickets?
Yeah, I'll order them in a minute after this show, yeah? And the last question, if you could get rid of one thing in the paranormal this second, what would it be? Could be anything. Equipment, people, location, an attitude, anything in the paranormal, what would you get rid of?
Nothing. Just on reflection of that, I'm actually thinking nothing. Now that sounds bizarre, but it doesn't, because at the end of the day, you could take out the negativity, you could take out the bullying, you could take out any of that sort of stuff, but there'll always be somebody to replace them. So what are you going to do? Just sit there and take them out? Or, here's a better idea, build off it. Let them cause you drama. Let them do whatever. Or anything else. If you're not happy with a piece, don't use the piece of equipment. Use something else. That's how I would approach it, rather than removing it. Because removing it, there's always somebody somewhere that comes in and replaces them, or the item, or whatever. If you don't like a certain spirit box, someone's going to make another one. You know, so I would just either don't use something if you don't like it, don't go somewhere if you don't like it, or don't be around people if you don't like them. That's what I would change.
There you go, so, people.
I think, would that be my attitude? I would change my attitude. I think that's what I would change.
Yeah. Okay. Fair play. Self-reflection. I like it. Yeah. So, thank you very much, Ryan, for being on the show. It's been emotional. It's been a learning curve for many, many people, I'm sure. And hopefully your talk about mental health and what your experiences have been can help others.
Well, the idea is to do marathons and stuff like that for this next year. I want to cover like loads of different marathons. I want to do loads of different stuff. I'm hopefully going to talk you into some sort of an event that we can do together, something, somewhere, something. Maybe a race or a run or a cycle or something.
Bring it on.
Bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it
Yeah, why not? I'm sure.
Hang on, did you say that on air? Did you say that?
Skinny and Mickey can do something.
No.
I'll cut that bit.
Actually, I've got a suggestion for you. Why don't we do, one of those assault course thingies like the Rat Race or something?
And like Tough Mudder and all them.
Something like that. Let's do something like that. Let's put some boys together and go do it.
Yeah, that sounds good actually. I'd like to do something like that. Yeah, or Ninja Warrior or something like that.
Exactly. Okay. That's not going to end well for me because I'm close to that.
Well, I got a knackered arm, so I can't even hold anything in this arm. So
fall down the slide that starts
backwards. Yeah. So how can people get in contact with you on your socials, etc. Whenever you're coming back, anyway?
Basically, you can get a hold of me through pretty much any social media at the minute. Obviously, certain accounts have got certain restrictions privacy-wise at the minute, purely because of different cases that I'm going through, as I said, threats and stuff. But just message me on Facebook, comment on one of my posts, and I'll message you. If you're unable to message me, just comment on a post and say, please, can we speak? And I'll say hi in a message, and we'll go from there. Instagram, Ryan Griffiths TV. Twitter's Ryan Griffiths TV 2. TikTok, the Viking 2.0. What else? Facebook is here. Is Ryan Griffiths on Facebook.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Yeah. So and you can email me at ryangriffiths1690@gmail.com.
There you go, people. Write that down.
I don't know what that was all about.
Nor do I. Thank you, Ryan, so much.
No worries, mate.
I'll see you, man.
It's an absolute pleasure.
See you in a bit.
Thank you, Mickey. Thank you.
So there we go, guys. Wow, what a revelation Ryan is, and what an inspiration that man is to many people out there in the community. And there you go. Nothing else to say, really. Make sure you go and subscribe to the YouTube channel, like the Instagram page, and tune in next week for another awesome paranormal guest. See you later.